One of the biggest mistakes I see contractors and home service company business owners make is they rent their marketing instead of owning their marketing. So the company that they're with or the person controlling it, if they're gone tomorrow, so does their leads go away, right? Like it's one of those things, if they disappear tomorrow, would you still get leads? Would you still get sales? And I'm not talking about word of mouth and things like that. Sometimes it can be scary. So I want to encourage you, and in this video, I want to give you 3 tips to be able to help you kind of know the difference of how to own your digital marketing and stop renting it. It's very, very important. So that way, it doesn't matter who you work with. You could work with me, you could work with somebody else, and it's going to be one of those things that you continue to get predictable leads, sales, and revenue for your company. If you're new to me, I'm digital marketing coach Chris Heidlebaugh, and I help home service companies stop guessing with their marketing and start focusing on getting more leads, more calls, and more booked jobs. So if you'd like for me to give an audit of your digital marketing, to share with you where any holes are at, if it's something that you would like me to train your team how to do digital marketing, as we're talking about not renting, I can train your team how to do digital marketing. Or if you want to take the hybrid approach and we work together and we help you succeed, I'm here to help you. You can check me out at digitalmarketingcoach.com, okay? So it's one of the key things I want to talk about. The number one thing to stop, don't rent your marketing and own it, is own your website, okay? So there's a lot of agencies. I'm an agency owner myself of multiple agencies. I've been in construction too, so I've been on both sides. I know what it's like to be a contractor. I know what it's like to be an agency owner. And one of the key things that keeps coming up over and over and over again is companies don't own their website, okay? And what does that look like? That's where an agency comes in and says, hey, we have this great plan for you. We can get you all these leads, blah, 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 blah. And we provide you with the website. All you got to do is just answer your phone call, right? But what happens is if you want to make edits to your website, if you watch my video, you might hear me, I promote creating your own content to build trust with people, right? What if you're going to build your own video library of content and things like this? And then next thing you know, it's going to be like, well, you can't edit your website. Because, if you edit your website, we're going to lose SEO rankings, blah, blah, whatever garbage out there, right? It's one of those things that you need to own your website. You need to own your digital assets. And then let somebody else, they get the privilege to work with you, not the other way around where you have to beg to work on your own website. So your website, your domain name, your web hosting, your content, it should be your business, not your marketing company's business, okay? So if somebody approaches you and they say, hey, how would you like to get a brand new and they don't even do it with the website. They're like, hey, how would you like to get 50 more leads this month? And most people are like, oh, sure, whatever, right? But at what cost? You can't work on your website. You can't do your own SEO. You can't work with other marketing companies. You got to sign some long-term contract or this, that, and the other, and it's just garbage, right? So at the end of the day, own your website and own your digital assets. Tip number 1. Tip number 2, build an audience that you control. So what does that look like? If you do email marketing, grow an email list, right? If you, say for an example, if you are in one of the home service spaces, maybe it's pest control, okay? Pest control is a great one. Hey, the weather's getting warmer, there's bugs and creatures coming out, things like that. If people are on your email list, you can email me like, hey guys, it's that time again. It's time for spray for wasps and this and that and spiders and all kinds of creepy things, right? And so it gives you the opportunity to own the audience that you can really kind of control. And I say that in an ethical way, right? We're not saying anything negative. We're just talking about what can you own? Email lists. You can collect reviews from people. So that way you don't have to be dependent on paid platforms. Dude, you could seriously just have the worst website in the world, the worst SEO, the worst AI optimization, but still get leads if you're paying for them. But what happens when you stop and you turn off the PPC and the LSAs and all these other things? Where do the leads go, right? And I'm not talking about word of mouth and things like that. That stuff's great. That's based on your work, people to know, like, and trust you, okay? I'm just talking about your digital marketing. If you're renting, basically you're saying, hey, Google, Microsoft, I'm vomiting all my money to. I'm opening my wallet. How much do you want, right? For some companies, that's fine. I've been doing this for 25 years. I've talked to companies that are like, Chris, I don't care how much it costs for pay-per-click. I'll just hire more employees. They get bad reviews because they can't serve people. They hire more employees trying to solve it. And then when they lose work or people get mad, now they got to fire. It's just a nasty game, right? I would prefer that your website you own. You're constantly getting ranked very high in the search engines. You're getting AI mentions. You're getting found in social media. And you don't have to use PPC unless you have to, right? But at the end of the day, though, you want to own something. Own your website, own your digital properties, own an email list, own your reviews, whatever you can do. It's going to help you really just stand apart from the competition, okay? And then number 3 is really understand your marketing. This is one of the toughest things in my experience is whether or not you work for yourself, you work with a team, you have hired an agency, you have somebody that does this in-house, you have to at least understand a little bit of how marketing works, okay? And more importantly, digital marketing. Again, I've been a contractor myself. I own agency. I've been on both sides. I know what it's like to freeze during the day and work all long hours, smash my hand with a hammer, do construction, do concrete work, do all these things, but also help contractors get found online. And a lot of times it turns into, Chris, I don't want to learn. I don't have time. Chris, I am better at HVAC or electrician or plumbing or whatever it is. I don't want to do digital marketing. That's why I'm paying you. And I completely understand. So that's why when people work with me and they work with my agency and they have me do the work for them, I at least attempt to educate them. So I do a lot of videos. I send to them and say, hey, look, I am doing this so that we get this result. Now, why do I do that? It's so that they can start to learn this is the reason why. Why are you asking for reviews after a job? Well, it's not necessarily for the person now. We're trying to get that lead in the future, right? Because here's the thing is when we get reviews now, it's great that we've done a great job. But what we're doing is we're actually trying to get that lead in the future because when they look at reviews and they're like, hey, this plumber has way more reviews than this other plumber, that's what we're focusing on, okay? So it's one of those things that even if you don't understand, it's not like you have to learn marketing or digital marketing like another language. But a couple things is one, that way you know that time is a resource. And so when you have somebody like me that says, Chris, when I'm telling you, I'm like, hey, Frank, hey, Sally, I want you to take 30 minutes a month and make some videos. Can you go to a job site and take a video? Can you take some pictures? Can you do something? Why am I doing that? So it's your real original content, not fake AI stuff or things like that. Or when I build a website for a company, I'll say, hey, look, use your cell phone, right? Pull out your cell phone, make a video that's somewhat decent, right? Like this isn't like something crazy, right? Like there's way better YouTubers out there and people on LinkedIn and TikTok and everything that makes way better videos. But for me, it's about the content. I want to put out content. I want to help people. That's where my passion is, okay? So the thing is when you're putting out educational content, there's a little bit more grace and mercy when maybe it's not the best audio or the best lighting. And, I'm sure I got reflections and different things like that's happening too, right? At the end of the day, though, it's about your content. And so when you're like, hey, this is Frank with, Frank's HVAC or whatever like that. No, I'm sure there's a Frank out there. No relation, okay? I'm just throwing something out there. So Frank with Frank HVAC, and today we're going to talk about furnace filters. This is what a good one looks like. This is what a bad one looks like. Water filters. Hey, this is what's in your water. This is why you need a water test. Roofing. This is why we choose this over this. When you make a video and you're educating people, it's going to go a lot farther. So again, like when I build a website for somebody, I'm like, hey, let's do a welcome video at the very least. Because people will watch a 30-second video before they go through an entire website. And that 30-second video, you have the opportunity to share with them what it is that you do. They get to know, like, and trust you. Just like when I make these videos. You might say, Chris, you know what? I just watched 30 of your videos. I think you're the guy I want to work with. Great. At the end of the day, my goal is to help you succeed. So like Zig Ziglar would say, like, you get to where you want to be in life by helping other people. That's great, right? There's a lot of great people out there. And so at the end of the day, though, I want you to just understand just enough of your marketing so you know to train your team. Hey, guys, make sure that you're taking a before and after picture, maybe even just take a quick video of a few things. That way we could add it to a Google Drive or Dropbox. So that way when we work with somebody in the future, we already have some of our own content, because we're going to get saturated by AI content. You want to know that you have your own real content. Do you need to know how search engine optimization works? No. But you also need to know, and this is important, if somebody's BSing you. Okay? You know, if you get somebody's calling you and they're like, oh, did you know that your website sucks? Did you know this, that, and the other? Just knowing, hey, can you explain to me, why does it suck? Oh, well, you know, that's a good question. Let me get you on the schedule of my calendar of my SEO expert and he can talk to you. Because you just got some cold call by some, you know, robo-dialer or some sort of AI system or somebody in another country, usually they're overseas, that are calling you and they're working for a very low wage so that they can put you on somebody's calendar so that they can try to pitch to you and sell to you, right? Even when I work with clients, they're working with me. Like we're a family. You know, at our agency, but it's one of those things that I touch every single project that we work on. Okay, so there's no outsourcing weird stuff or things like that. Okay, everybody is different. Some people that are like, I don't care where you outsource it to, as long as you keep money in my pocket. Other people, they want to know that they can call me and say, hey, Chris, I need to talk to you, or hey, I need to do this, or I need to do that. Everybody's a little bit different, right? So again, I know I'm going off on this a little bit, but again, understand your marketing. Understand, why do you need a website? Why does it need to be mobile friendly? Why do you need to do social media content? Why do you need to do this? Why do you need to do that? Just know enough. You don't have to know everything. That's why you delegate. But when you delegate, you should understand what's going on with confidence and clarity, because if not, if you're just delegating without knowing, that can be a disaster, right? But when you're delegating, you know what's going on with that confidence and clarity. That is growth. That is accountability. And that's what's missing in a lot of marketing these days. So if you're looking to get help with your marketing, you can check me out at digitalmarketingcoach.com.